Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to Profiling to Profit, brought to you by the Market Profile Trading Academy. Today is Saturday, April 30th in the afternoon. Want to get this video out to you fairly quickly so you guys had time to research it, see what the week ahead looks like. Let's find some areas of interest that could bring some nice trading opportunities. First, though, let's take a look at the weekly economic news outlook. Last week, if you remember, the FOMC meeting happened and the announcement happened on Wednesday, which obviously we saw some erratic markets with finally selling off late in the week. And does that mean something? Something we're asking ourselves over here is, are the markets getting tired of the talking heads? In other words, are they getting tired of the Bank of Japan, the ECB, and of course back here at home, the Federal Reserve? Are we getting tired of the central bankers lifting these markets and not allowing natural price discovery and natural movement into the markets? We could be starting to see that. We could be seeing a loss of control there. Not saying it is happening, but just something to keep an eye out. This week, it is pretty light with news. We don't have any Federal Reserve members talking, which is sort of odd. Typically have one talking about once a week. But typically this is just a normal news this week. It happens every month. GDP on Friday could be a market mover. But always just watch your red numbers. Those are important to keep an eye on. Let's take a look. Let's get started here in the NASDAQ. NASDAQ's one of our favorites to trade. Last week we talked about this zone, and this is, by the way, just as a reminder, these profiles are weekly profiles on 2-hour candles. So we started here last week and we said, okay, watch this zone for 44.89.88 area up to that 45.05 area. If that holds, this thing could roll over. It did. It rolled over, or it went in and touched, and then of course rolled over and made new lows. I actually took out the targets that we thought it would take out too. We saw, hey, this was a possible support area. It did find some support, made a small bounce, could not get back into the value area of that week, and then of course just rolled back over. So now where is this going? Well, of course we don't have any crystal balls, but we can find out where the best areas are to maybe play if that's possible. Right now, that first resistance area is the same targets that we originally thought. If they come back here and find resistance up here, then this box down here, this volume area, let me get my drawing tools out here. The volume area, this box right here is the volume area from 3 weeks ago. We have to watch this. It could take out this low from 2 weeks ago and then start to get down into that volume area. Now, where does it stop in here? Yeah, it's an area. Nobody really knows where it's going to stop. But I say if you're short coming in down into this area, probably either need to take some profits, or you need to move your stops down to protect profits on that. Now, if we get back above this resistance zone right here, then we have probably a good chance of rolling back up into the value area. Then most likely, if we do that, we roll back up to the top of the value area and maybe even make new highs up there. So keep an eye on that play. That could be a nice one there. Let's go back and take a look at the Russell, or excuse me, the ES. All right, now we talked last week that, hang on, we had some divergences why the NASDAQ was really going down. We'll talk a little bit more about the NASDAQ and the FANG stocks, but we saw the NASDAQ really sort of diving, selling off, while the ES was not quite going there. So we identified this area. We had sort of a B pattern 2 weeks ago on that profile. We said, listen, that upper volume area is going to act as pretty good resistance. If it does hold and acts as resistance, this thing could run back over. And of course, we came up, we tested it, got rejected, we tested it again, and this time it really rejected it hard. Took out the previous week's lows, and now it looks like we may want to start balancing down here. Now, again, what is the play here? Now, the play is we've gone back above our target zones from this resistance zone. If this trade was you right here, congratulations, a very nice move and very nice play. Now, that doesn't mean that this thing could roll up. Right now, the resistance area is going to be that value area. If that value area holds, then we're going to probably roll down, take out some lows down here, and then take a look, probably 2019, 2026 area. That is a logical area for support to come in if it's going to come in, and also a great target on there. If price again rolls back up into the value and starts trading in there, obviously the high volume node, and of course the zone again back up here. So some good plays there. However, now the ES is selling off. I won't say it's in lockstep with the ES, but it's, or excuse me, the NASDAQ, but it is selling off, and we expect it to keep following the NASDAQ if the NASDAQ does continue. Let's move over to the Russell real quick. Now the Russell was the one that was giving us fits. Why everything was selling off, even the ES, the Russell kept making new highs up here. It did go ahead. Now we have this wonderful, wonderful engulfing pattern. Again, I don't rely on patterns only. I do trade them along with the profile, but this is one that I do take notice if it does happen. Okay, we had an engulfing, where an engulfing, for you new traders who not quite understanding what an engulfing pattern really entails, what it does is price goes over and probes up above the previous weeks or previous profile, whatever your time frame is, and then runs back down into that area, into the previous week's profile, and then rolls all the way down to the low of that profile and breaks it out. Now this one just poked its head below and got everybody a little stuck, for those who thought this was really going to be a sell-off. There still could be a sell-off. The line in the sand here is the box here. Okay, that's the box that we need to watch. If this thing rolls back up and holds that, then sells off, we have a couple great areas down here that we're looking for. We have a gap, and that thing, you know, gaps obviously all get filled, so we like the gap down here. And then from that area, you know, we do have the zone, and we got to watch the zone as well. So this is an engulfing pattern. It either means two things. Either the market is getting weak, okay, and this thing's going to continue to sell off, or we're going to just start seeing choppy sideways stuff. And both of those are logical. So just watch the zone back up here. Above this, all bets are off then, and the Russell may want to go ahead and make new highs up there. So a couple good areas and good plays there. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the others products that we talked about last week. Let's open this back up. I want to first go and take a look at gold here. We talked about gold. This is a great little flag pattern. If you remember, we talked about what a flag is. A flag is a bullish pattern. It runs up, it goes sideways in a flagpole looking, and then of course it breaks out. Now the profile, let's go down and take a look at the profile a little bit better here, and that will give us some clues of what that breakout, if the breakout was going to happen or not. Before this thing broke out to the upside, and this is probably drawn a little bit too high, but before it broke out to the upside, you'll notice that we had volume building down here on the last week profile. Okay, once volume, once price went over the previous week's volume node and started building up there, finished at the high, that was a pretty good clue that we could be breaking out. It was probably a high probability, low risk type of trade, and of course the actual breakout as well. Now you can see here a lot of volume at the top up here in the weekly profile. We could start to build a little bit of a balance here before we make another leg up. And then the other one was, if you are going to end up trading gold, you got to keep an eye on the dollar. Okay, we talked about this last week. I said if the dollar breaks, gold is going to break along with it to the upside, and sure enough, we had this pattern, or this balance area, should I say, this balance area right here went ahead and broke down in the dollar, and it was in high. This thing is balancing with a lot of high volume down here. Obviously this thing is weak in the dollar. I want to take a little closer look at this because I want to see where possibly this could go. We balanced down here and we took out new lows. Now 92.52 is sitting there looking us in the eye. That is a real possibility that we go down and test that low down there. That low is from wow, that was from 8/31 of last year. So Dollar's weak right now. Dollar's weak. Metals are strong. Um, the profile has given us all kinds of hints and clues and opportunities to get involved here. So keep an eye on the gold. If you're not long the gold right now, I don't recommend going in and trying to get long. It's not an area. You have to wait for an area to get long. Um, Let's take a look at where that could be, if there's any areas of interest right there. Areas of interest in this is going to be the breakout area, flat, pretty simple. This breakout area of 1280 has to hold. If it rolls back in that 1280, you notice on the profile, let's go a little closer here, we do have a gap down here, top of that gap. If we roll back into this congestion area where all this volume has been balancing, then there's a chance we'll roll back down to the low, and we'll see what happens. But right now, it's everything points upwards for gold. Crude oil. Crude oil is off to the races, and nothing seems to be stopping it. There is no trades that we see in here, no opportunities of areas of interest. We are back in, if you go back to November of last year, we're right back and we hit this high volume node right in here. This is why the profile is such a great tool. Again, it's not an indicator, guys, it's a tool. Because look at this volume area right here. Okay, just drawing a couple quick lines over here. Price moved right into that volume area and has stayed and stuck. It found resistance and sold off a little bit. So, you know, they're like magnets, and we know that if the price gets moving, the magnet is usually the next high volume node, or maybe even the low volume node in there. And in this case, obviously, once this broke out here, which is a 42 and some change, then the next obvious place for to take profit, or where this price could be exploring, would be up here in this 45 area, which would have been a nice opportunity. So with that, oil is continuing to go up. There's a lot of talking between the Saudi countries, and a lot of fighting too, as far as what they're going to do with production. We're going to avoid this right now. If anything, we're looking for a place to get short, but right now I don't see any areas of interest that are pretty obvious. The only thing I would say is if we take out this low down here at 42.58, that would be an opportunity if we start balancing down here. But until then, we're going to go ahead and stay pretty clear of it. All right, we talked about this last week as well. The euro is doing the same thing as gold. Nice little flag back and forth. We are right at the area of a breakout. Now, of course, this was helped by some news last week, but nonetheless, we broke above a high volume area of last year. Last week we broke above the previous week's high, which is very bullish, and now we've closed up at that high. My guess is that we come in on Sunday and we may even gap up. The European session may gap it up a little bit higher, but we're watching this area right here. Whoop. Sorry about that, guys. My drawing tool wasn't working. This area right here, if we bust below this gap up lows, then we have a great shot of coming down and testing the value area, also where a gap was. However, if we're staying above this area, we want to see prices continue up at this point, and we think they will. Not sure what Draghi's going to do, and not sure how this is all going to play out in the future with him. But again, the central bankers are doing whatever they can to make markets do what they want. So right now, the euro looks positive, looks bullish, and until we get a breakdown down into that gap area, then I would say that you got to remain to the upside. All right, what else? Oh, one that we will avoid, guys. We talked about this last week as well. This was an interesting one. If I can find my symbol here real quick. The Japanese yen. This thing is crazy, and we are avoiding it with everything. We're not even getting close to it, but I want to show you why we avoid it. You can see here how erratic it is. It gaps up constantly. The profiles are not very clean. Especially last week we had this thing was anybody there's a lot of people short in here, guaranteed, and then they got ripped on some news, and of course it balanced up here, and then it did follow through. It did take out 1, 2, 3 weeks of highs up here, which is actually fairly bullish, really bullish. But it's so erratic, you have no idea what's going to do. We had 3 gap ups 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. We had a nice balanced week prior, or inside week. It did break down. This was a bearish move right here. In all practical purposes, this should have come down a little bit further, but we balanced early in the week, gap up, crush people, and they're off to the races. Now, will they continue to go up? No clue, and I don't think anybody has any clue. And I think everybody's getting a bit skittish of this product and staying away from it. We recommend it as well, and we are staying away from it. Lastly, guys, I got one. If you are a grains trader, corn, actually you could say probably corn and soybeans as well. Corn and soybeans are looking pretty good right now. There's an opportunity with them. Make sure I got my right symbol here. I apologize. All right, yep, that's it. All right, corn here is breaking out and has broken out and is balancing right now. We have the highs at $3.99, 50, $3.99, right up here high. This is a great opportunity, I think, for corn to continue up higher right now. We're coming into the planting season. From what all we can understand, planting is going well right now. Let's take a look at the profile. We had this nice inside week, and this is the opportunity. We look for an inside week. The next week we look for a probe to the upside and maybe follow through. Okay, if we get above this area here, the $3.95, then that is the probe we're looking for. The area that we will watch is in this. If we come back in the value and we stay inside of value, most likely we're going to roll back down and we're going sideways still. Okay. However, if we break back up here and we are able to balance back up here, most likely we'll see some more upside on that. So corn, wheat are starting to look good in that. Let me see. Let me take a look at wheat. I think it was wheat. I'm sorry. Wheat was an inside day, I believe. Yeah, wheat's inside as well, and I believe soybeans was as well. No, soybeans did break out. Apologize about that. Soybeans did break out, and they are balancing right now. Very nice profile, sort of a P profile, which is a bullish profile. A lot of volume down here supporting it. So right now the grains all look pretty bullish, and as we come into the spring planting season, well, it started on the southern part of the United States, but in the northern United States we're still planting. Won't be planted and in the ground probably till the second week of May, so we got to watch that. But it's all pretty bullish. I think like plantings are going well, and that could carry these grains into the summertime. So with that, guys, I think that's it for the week coming up. Again, watch news. Also, please take a look at the website at Market Profile Trading Academy. A lot of great information there. If you got comments, if you got questions, go ahead and just give us a contact up here in the corner. We'll be glad to answer anything that we possibly can, and we wish you all the best this week. Take care and good trading.